Hello, beloved, and welcome to your message from the big God, okay, God Himself. I am grateful to be of truth and deliverance to you as the prophetic vessel to your messages, okay, beloved. Let us tap in and find out what God wants you to know at this time. What is it? Okay, what's going on? So, what is it? What is it? Interesting question. Let's see. Let's see what this is about. Oh dear. Here's what I've been exposed to, okay? Okay. So there's been some form of curse in your family that has lingered for generations, okay? And I say this loosely. I want to first clarify that this is for those who walk a spiritual path. Don't come over here with a lack of understanding of life and take my messages of this high of a vibration and attach them to your life, knowing damn well you don't even know what spiritual warfare is about. Don't be dumb, kids. But this message is for those who have walked the path of initiation, okay? Those who have been initiated by their ancestors, by God, okay? Those who know what I'm talking about when I say this, this is for you. I'm not going to clarify any further because then it would mean that you are truly not tapped in already. You got to depart. Don't stay, but do what you want. Okay. So the initiates of like from 2016, 2017, 2018, 2019, and 2020 through 2021, which this means that this should be the time duration of sort of like a higher consciousness, a higher level of consciousness of your spiritual awakening. When things started feeling too real, or when you found your power, because you discovered it, right? Through spirituality. You weren't like this. And this came from what you tapped into and what it brought out of you. So understand that spirituality and how you were tapped into it, that's where your power lies. How you hear is through the ear of the learned, right? It's not just you passively hearing someone saying something. It's like a reference point, an analogy, a case study I want to give is of like, take a movie, for instance, of this white rich lady and this black little child, right? So this white rich lady speaks to this black little child, and to anyone from the outside looking in, it seems as though it could be a different perception for everyone, because everyone formulates thoughts differently. Someone could see a perverted white lady that is obsessed with black kids. Trigger warning, ladies and gentlemen. Someone else could see a kind lady who's just helping out the child or speaking to them. Ooh, and this about to be dark. Someone else might be fantasizing about a pornography video between the two. And this could be any stranger in passing, watching the interaction of the old white lady and the little black child. But everyone is in the same form. The stranger is flesh. Everyone is in the same form. But the reality is different. Because the paths we've taken are different. You, on the other hand, what would you see? Wouldn't you hear the conversation in spirit? Wouldn't you psychologically analyze the body language, the facial features, the eyes? Wouldn't you begin to channel the old white lady's energy? Wouldn't you even ask, is he lost? Or is she lost? Oh, is he? Because it's a little black boy, right? Black child. It's like, I feel like you don't understand your own power here. Which I feel was introduced to you by spirit, okay? Your spirit led you to spirituality through the help of your ancestors, God, and all his might, who laid your hand upon your heart and your mind and healed you whole in spirit, and is still healing you every day. God is healing you every day. Don't you? How beautiful of a life. I see it. I see that. I see it here. So now I feel like strange coincidences are about to happen in your life where a lot of people's secrets are going to become exposed to you. You're going to realize a lot of things, meaning you're going to realize a lot of things. A lot of revelations are going to come to pass. A lot of things are going to start being shared in sight, like shared as in like the shedding of skin. A lot of things are going to start being shared in likeness in your reality. Like, it's not going to be bad. I don't want you to think that way. Don't be pessimistic. And I felt, y'all, it's not going to be that deep. God says, okay, it will be deep, but not like in a negative way. You know, we didn't fought these demons, child. We ain't going to be fighting forever. God says it's time for rest. I don't know if y'all watched this video, the message that God is directing me to a certain vision of a message I did where the title was I'm only being drawn to the last part of it where it said time for rest is near. I'm not remembering the other half of the title. I guess obviously it's not relative, but the time for rest is near. So I feel like the time for rest is approaching and has overtaken you in your life. Like, you sort of feel like, or it's gonna feel like, or it's beginning to feel like things just are turning out so well. Like, you're gonna start saying things like that, like, that happened so fast, like that usually doesn't happen that way. Or it's like these strange coincidences where the secrets come out of other people. You know what I'm saying? Those secrets are going to be in your reality, and it's going to bring you to a form of understanding of yourself, your world, and those in it. And then you're going to come back to the energy of receiving good judgment, good karma, because other people's secrets don't fall on you as burdens. They fall on you as blessings, because it proves you right. It proves in favor of you, because it's secrets that went against you behind the scenes. You get me? So God is revealing these people to you, and not just to you. Everybody's going to see. Everybody's going to see what you meant, what you were saying all this time. And I feel like, oh, TikTok motherfuckers, it's already begun. You heard? We're not playing this season, is what your ancestors are saying. A lot of things have been let slide. The time for that has passed. People have received chances countless times and misused them time and time again, proving us right, proving your ancestors right. God too, God included, because He sees all. He's just He's not, I guess you could say God is really merciful. Very. Because I'm seeing a lot of people got chances with a chosen one here. Look at this. So we have the Ace of Pentacles here, right? And then we have the 5 here. But this big ace, I feel like it amounts to one whole ace, you know. So it's like 5 plus 5 is 10, which I could say would be not just the 10 of Pentacles, but when the 10 of Pentacles blooms into a bigger caliber of itself or energy of itself, it'll bloom to the Ace of Pentacles. So the ultimate peak, you know, the ultimate peak of something. So I feel that it's like a lot of people had you in their presence. It's just they had you in different parts of you that have now been brought to one whole as you are in your healing process, your healing journey. You are finding self within self, home within you. All those different parts of you that were taken from you by other people in your past have been returned back to you, taking your power back. Return of self, return of self, return of self. That's what you're going through. Redemption is what we call it. Judgment is what we know it as. You are being brought back. Can't you see? So now I feel like what's happening is leading people to hate themselves for not taking not speaking the truth. The people of your past are regretting the lies they told you, because now it just makes them look foolish. If anyone of your past ever wanted to come your way, they'd look foolish. Just as much as if any one of your exes wanted to make you jealous, they'd be the dumbest motherfuckers on this earth. You heard? Because you don't seek that. You don't seek power in that. That's not where your power lies. You're not powerful because of what you can do and what you have, tangible matter, money, wealth, or beauty. It's like more like you have eternal goodwill within your heart. And you know what? Like, that's the true power of life, because that's what keeps everyone going. Goodwill. An example, a narrative, an analogy here, a reference point would be someone that always gets deceived but always seeks to trust. You don't know your own power. And neither do these people. But that's how God works. He hides you. Tommy? It's not that they don't like you or they didn't like you in the past. These people of your trauma, the bullies, the sissies and the sassies, it's not that they didn't like you. It's that you were looking at it like that. And because you were looking at it like that, that's how you saw it. And because of that, that's what your reality became. It starts in how you see it. Because how you see it shapes how you feel about it. So once you see it for what it is, you allow yourself to feel the true emotions of it, to be able to release it. But if you don't, you stay in the in-between, where there's no equilibrium. It's just sort of like going back and forth like this, like a pendulum, where it rotates, it hits back and forth. And you become stuck in a loop, which is where these people are. They're in the in-between. Stranger things, motherfuckers. As above, so below. Go watch that series, Stranger Things. If you are resonating with this message, as above, so below, go understand the concept of what it means to be in the in-between. Look up at the sky. Pleasurably, God placed me in a position to be able to do so as I'm seated here with the view of the outside. You see a constant figure of your imagination of a blue sky. You see blue, you see color. You see in color, which translates to weather, changing our seasons. But it's changing how we feel too. The in-between would be someone living in spiritual jail. It's like freedom, entrapment, jail. That's the in-between, the jail. So it would be like the jail is the loop that they're stuck in. And they're just constantly, going back and forth like that, where am I going to see the truth for what it is and completely formulate my true nature of self? Or do I want to live in the abyss of illusion that is so comfortable because it's easier to function like that? Like, beloved, being this spiritual being that you are is not like an easy thing. Why do you think this path is less chosen by other people? Why do you think they thought of it to be so unorthodox and so dark and so satanic when you spoke about tarot or your belief system or what you see to be true or believe in? Why were they so shooketh at that? It's because of the vibration that puts you on. You ain't scared? Beloved, it's like that. Like, that's vibration, fear. You know what I'm saying? People are scared of this shit. Like, you speak about death, you speak about spells, casting of spells, you speak about spiritual warfare, you tweet people out because why? They're not in the vibration to receive that sort of enlightenment. They're stuck in a loop where they're constantly fluctuating. Sometimes they choose to know when it's comfortable, and then they choose to go back and repel and be shitty ass people when it's comfortable too. And then they come back to the middle when they're neutral and going about their day-to-day lives. That's being stuck in a loop. Whereas you are living in the truest form of your identity. You are not functioning off of illusions based off of concepts, ideologies, or even your trauma. You are functioning off of self. Like, just objective, self-objective to anything else. It's just you and God. That's why it feels so peaceful. They're spiritual demons roaming earth that have been here for millennia, before you were even thought of to be created by your parents. Before they were even, do you understand? It's like things of the world that you will leave here, and like we all just on borrowed time. And it's like, if you waste your time, that's on you. That's your decisions and choices. But time literally doesn't wait. It dictates. It dictates your life. Okay? And we're here to pave a better way for one another. It's like self-objective to the concepts, ideologies of life that you fell in love with. Like, you fell in love with certain things about spirituality, but you didn't allow those things to take over your world. Just, I remember when I first tapped into tarot, and I had my first deck of cards for like a while. Like, I bonded with the energy of those cards, and I was able to read them to filth because of that. Not the interchanging of energies that was distorting my beginning stages. Shout out to my ancestors' magic, you know what I'm saying? But here I am. I usually watch, well, not anymore, but I used to deep dive into like the concepts that people would speak of about tarot and like what they thought of it. And there hardly ever good things said about tarot because it's misunderstood. It hasn't been established. It hasn't been represented properly. That's what I'm here for, bitches. And you know that. Oh, you know that. But regardless, I feel like the ideologies and concepts of life that I discovered through my work didn't take over me. I'm able to be me outside of what I serve humanity with. I don't allow my God-given gift to consume me or turn me into a demon. Because I know how deep and dark tarot readers are and can be and hide themselves to be and mask themselves. I see y'all, man. I just don't be saying the names. I ain't gonna be here on that. I'm not a whistleblower. I'm not here for that. I'm here to restrict y'all from fucking up God's plan any further than you already have, motherfuckers. That's the agenda. That's the cause. Oh, I dare y'all to go against me. I feel like, beloved, there comes a time in our life where we have to realize our own worth. And I feel like you realized that early. You didn't stick around where you weren't appreciated. When you were rejected in the environment that you were in, you seek the world of your own within you. You created your own solar system, putting things in place to make yourself comfortable within, but doing it with good intention, which left you untouched, unscathed by the enemy's wrath. Because none of you was impure enough for his presence in your life. The enemy does not have any territory in your life. Can't you see? Breathe. You were not dying. Just breathe. You were not dying. You understand what that means? I remember battling with a hex that was placed upon me when I was younger. And I remember being so hexed that I felt like there was a time where the spirit, I feel that it was the peak of the battle where I was done with the anxiety. It was no longer just anxiety. It was no longer just fear of life or death. It was no longer just me tripping out on this life thing. It got deeper when the spirit that was in my home at the time, it came to conquer me. And at the time, I didn't know who I was. I was just led by my guides who had compelled me with their magic, regardless of the hex. Because my guides, my ancestors, are that powerful. So here I am to tell the story. That was the point. So I was guided here, basically. Back to what happened to me, it's like when the peak of the spirit had, I feel like that day was like I was financially unfit to pay my bills. Well, my man and I, but it was a time where I was battling a hex placed upon me. My finances were being spiritually attacked. My mental health was in shambles, but my will to survive is what kept me under the spell of my ancestors to focus on breaking the hex, which I feel had to happen. If it had to happen, because it had to happen in the form of me facing the spirit. I had to face it, and it came, I remember I was in my kitchen, I was in the kitchen, and I was like, God had instructed me to take a bowl of water and speak in tongues around my home and outside and pray. And when I was doing it, I felt like it was more like a channeling, because I was doing it in Dawn's routine. I allowed myself to channel. I was aware that I was not doing it, but I was comfortable enough with my intuition, which I know to be my ancestors now. But back then I was just saying intuition, but intuition is your ancestors, those that guide you. But that's why you have to respect them, respect the cause, respect what happened to them, by being a good person. But yeah, back to the message here. It's like when the spirit came to me, I battled it. It came to me in a form of wind. I remember because I was already spreading water. I had opened door in the kitchen. The kitchen leads to the porch out. The porch led to the porch outside, and it's like it had like there's windows. It's like open. So I had everything open, and the wind was strong because of my scenery. Like it felt like a swirl of wind, and I remember going like this. It felt like it felt a little bit like this, like judgment. And I feel like that's what it was, because something was coming out of me, and I thought I was dying because the wind was so overwhelming. It blew my own breath outside of my lungs, but I feel like I was being like new life was birthed in me. I feel like that was an exchange from God. I feel like I met God like that. I feel like God came to change my life. Because the day after, I remember my partner thought I was tripping, or it was probably, all the weed, but like it's not, it wasn't. It was like the next day, not when I was, not the whole thing now, this was the day after when something happened and he thought I was high, and that's why I reacted like that. I'm not talking about my encounter with God. I'm talking about what happened to me the day after. So I never spoke about it to him that day because it was like it's like, you know, but the day after, I a fog was cleared in my eyes. Like I could see my hands for the first time, and I wasn't aware that I couldn't see my hands. I could see my feet, which I feel like both were bound. Spiritually, I feel like that was the war for me to lose sight of my identity, to just be stuck and maybe lose my mind. Because I come from a family of that, lost minds. Brilliant, but lost. So I guess that was not meant to be my reality, hence the judgment and my encounter with God. So I feel like when God came to me in that spirit form, it was air, the element of air, right? Because the wind that I felt was there to kill me because I misunderstood my battle. I misunderstood my battle, and I didn't see God when he was there. Seeing God can kill you, and I feel like I did die that day. But it was the me that was under the Hicks, the me that was Hicks. Because the next day I was reborn. I could see. So this is to say that to all you bitches out there who are claiming my father's name in vain for clout, for views, to look good, to be the best, to be perceived like that, there'll come a time when he comes in an element that will blind you. Keep coming for my collective, to those who watch in vain, to plot against other people and be strategic against their will. Keep doing that. To those sending me evilness, to those who are evil-minded and watching me, I rebuke you in the name of the Lord. Because I walk with the Almighty, no matter what all you motherfuckers got to think about that. And with time, you will see what I was saying all along. As I have always been, I am prophetic vessel. I don't need no cards. I know you all by name. That's the Lord I serve. I don't know about your God, but mine does not negotiate, and neither does he bluff. With that being said, I rebuke negative energies. I release you with love. In Jesus' name, I close this off. And I want to conclude this by saying, love yourself enough to see past the supposed love others show to you. Your love for yourself must be more than the love others have for you, so that the love others have for you doesn't feed you. It must strengthen you, yes, but it mustn't feed you. It must make you feel good, yes, but it mustn't feed you. You must be already fed within self. We are not here to feed off of one another like that. I'm not here to, it's like that's your journey with God. He can sustain you. That's why He can deliver you from addiction because He has fed you with Him, a part of Him. You are full. You don't need none of that. You don't need to be fed by no spirit. Stay prayed up, bitches. I love you guys. Okay? Lighten up, lighten up, lighten up. This was a tough one, but I hope that you got this far and you understand, you know what I'm saying, your father more. You understand the relationship you have with your father more, which is God, you know what I'm saying? Your maker, your creator, the alpha, the omega, the end and the beginning. Okay? I'm out of peace.